Dante Williams, you watching Dontaesboxingnation.
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 And this is proof of what a great time we're living in boxing. As the WBC has stated, open television in the United States is a great fact that is helping boxing very much. The WBC will be supportive, and the PBC system, as established in other countries, has proven to bring boxing to a great millions of fans around the world. So we have been supportive, and we're very proud of the promotion of tonight.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So Al Haymon continues to push boxing into the forefront, the mainstream. After watching Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Mares this past weekend, as expected, this fight has generated more numbers on ESPN than it has produced in 17 years. The first fight that they aired on ESPN, or maybe I should say the last fight they aired on ESPN, which was Danny Garcia versus Paulie Malignaggi, that fight alone had already broke records. The momentum continues to build off of this Santa Cruz versus Mares fight, because this fight peaked at 1.6 million views. That is huge. Additionally, the event drew 355,000 views on ESPN Deportes, a record-breaking number for the Spanish network as well. Al Haymon continues to break records, and I'm going to tell you guys something right now. If you are real boxing fans and you love the sport of boxing, forget about the color of the person that's running this PBC series. Forget about anything that does not pertain to boxing. If you love boxing and you are colorblind, then you should love the direction that the PBC series is headed in right now. Do you guys know that this fight wasn't even on primetime NBC? Because if this was on primetime NBC, the numbers probably would have been around 4 million. But 1.6 is still huge. Like I said, we haven't seen numbers like that on ESPN in over 17 years. So Al Haymon takes over ESPN, and almost every card that he puts on ESPN is doing 1 million plus views. I told you guys when Keith Thurman fought against Robert the Ghost Guerrero, that was on NBC, and those numbers peaked at 4 million views. But even the 1.6 million views that Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Mares peaked at, do you guys know Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares, or the PBC series all in one, do you know that they generated more TV ratings than Gennady Golovkin, that is, has ever produced in any of his fights? And those weren't even the highest numbers that the PBC series has done. What does that say about the direction that Al Haymon is headed in right now? It says a whole lot, right? You know, it's real easy for casual fans to just say something personal and, really vague, say, oh, I don't like this guy, he's a disease for the sport, and et cetera, or that boxer is a coward, a bitch, a runner, et cetera. You could say all of that kind of stuff, but guess what? When the facts hit you in your face, it pretty much shuts up everything you said. Let me go ahead and give you some statistical facts when it comes to what Al Haymon is doing right now in the sport of boxing, because it is really unbelievable, guys. The statistical success is unbelievable. Let me go ahead and just read a little piece of this article from BoxingScene.com. just to give you guys some statistical facts that illustrates the success of the PBC series since the inception. The PBC series also continues a trend of building, or in some cases rebuilding, audiences on a slew of networks on which the series airs. The August 15 edition on PBC on NBC Sports Network jumped nearly 50% from the July 26 installment, which the August 14th showing on PBC on Spike TV also featuring the Fight of the Year candidate, Huck versus Glowacki, showing a similar improvement from its previous showing in June. The month of August also saw the PBC series debuted on Bounce TV, entering with a smash. The August 2 tripleheader produced an average of 459,000 views and peaking at 667,000 viewers. Both numbers good for the highest rated first run program in the network's history. So how is it possible with all this success? The decaf I'm talking to right now. You don't have a problem with Bob Arum. You don't have a problem with Tom Loeffler, Golovkin's promoter. You don't have a problem with Oscar De La Hoya. But for some strange reason, you only have a problem with Al Haymon. And even though almost every boxer out there is praising this man, you have the WBC president praising this man. Hell, even Dana White is praising Al Haymon. Everyone seems to be praising him, but forget about who's praising him. Just look at the statistical facts. Look at the success. We as boxing fans, we want our sport to be the biggest sport ever, right? That's what we want. So if you have someone who's trying to push boxing to the forefront, try to push boxing to the mainstream so more people can watch the sport, how could you possibly sit over here and say you're not a fan of that? It doesn't make any sense. But unfortunately, now that I think about it, in the world that we live in, it makes a whole lot of sense that the only person who's disliked is Al Haymon out of the bunch when it comes to advisors / promoters. Now, when it comes to Bob Arum, I may not agree with everything that he has done or said in the sport of boxing, but I have never called Bob Arum a disease in the sport of boxing. I've never said I hate him and Top Rank sucks and all of this stuff. I've never said anything like that before. Even though Alex Ariza, according to him, who was very close to Bob Arum at one point, he said that Bob Arum said, fans are like dumb rocks. You can kick them in any direction, right? Bob Arum is the man that admitted he kept the undefeated at the time, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., away from Sergio Martinez for 2 years. So that fight that us boxing fans have been clamoring for, Bob Arum admits that he suppressed negotiations when it came to that fight, right? He didn't want the fight at the time because I believe Bob Arum knew that Sergio Martinez would probably win the fight. But get this, there's more. Then you have Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. I interviewed Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach, he tells me that he believes Bob Arum kept Mayweather away from Manny Pacquiao because he wanted Mayweather to be Manny Pacquiao's very last fight. And then after I interviewed Freddie Roach, then Manny Pacquiao, he actually said the same thing in another interview. He said, I believe Bob Arum wants the Mayweather fight to be my very last fight. This is what Manny Pacquiao said, as well as his trainer, Freddie Roach. So according to Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao, the reason why we didn't see this Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight in the last 5 years was because of Bob Arum. But yet no one says that Bob Arum is a disease in the sport of boxing. No one says that he's bad for the sport of boxing. But Al Haymon is. And at the same time that you have the WBC president and you have all of these professionals and professional boxers that are just praising Al Haymon for all of his success in the sport, he's the guy that's disliked? Maybe it's just a big ass coincidence, right? We all know what time it is. I'm going to keep reporting the truth, and that's all I got for now. I'm on to the next one.